Hey, so everybody, back with another video. This is Burger King and Popeyes plan to close a several hundred locations this year. Yeah, so Popeyes and Burger King, they're planning on closing a several hundred locations this year. And as you can see here in the picture is Popeyes. The coronavirus pandemic has devastated much of the restaurant and bar industry, including national chains and mom and pop shops alike. Just last week, Dunkin' announced plans to shutter 800 locations across the United States this year, while McDonald's is saying goodbye to 200 of its own. And now Burger King, Popeyes, and Tim Hortons are following suit. Yeah, so with the coronavirus pandemic that devastated much of the restaurant and bar industry, including national chains and mom and pop shops alike. Dunkin' Donuts did announce plans to shutter 800 locations across the United States this year, while McDonald's is saying goodbye to 200 of its own. That also now includes Burger King, Popeyes, and Tim Hortons are following suit. So there's going to be a lot of chain restaurants that are going to be closing this year. CEO of parent company Restaurant Brands International, Jose Seal, said in an earnings call earlier this week that the brands would be proactively closing several hundred more restaurants than we might in a typical year, according to Delish. However, because of new openings, Seal did say that he expects to end 2020 with a similar number of restaurants relative to where we ended in 2019. So the CEO, who's the parent company Restaurant Brands International, Jose Seal, said in an earnings call earlier this week that the brands would be proactively closing several hundred more restaurants. So there's going to be a whole lot more restaurants that are going to be closing. I'm not sure what states they will close them or anything, so there's going to be several hundred more of them. Then we might in a typical year, according to Delish. So according to Delish, that's what they're saying. Also, however, because of new openings, Seal did say that he expects to end 2020 with a similar number of restaurants relative to where we ended in 2019. So whatever happened in 2019, I guess that's where he'll end it at. So who's getting the axe? Though it's unclear how the cuts will impact each individual chain, the company is identifying underperforming, unprofitable restaurants that it makes sense to close. CFO Matt Dunnigan said RBI is currently sorting through its data to make the final determination. So yeah, so who's getting the axe? Well, we don't know, but whoever it is, they're getting the axe. Though it's unclear how the cuts will impact each individual chain, so it all depends on how it's going to impact the chain of who's going to get the axe this time, which companies that are going to be closing. The company is identifying underperforming, unprovable restaurants that it makes sense to close. And this is CFO Matt Dunnigan said RBI is currently sorting through its data to make the final determination. So they got to go through all this data to make the final determinations of which ones are going to get the chop. We are going through a proactive process of looking through our systems all around the world and where it makes sense to close restaurants. That will help improve the overall health of the system profitably, he said. And then also longer term makes sense for our partners and for us in terms of the businesses, models, and supporting future development. That's something we're going to do. And we're going to be proactive about that in the second half. So yeah, in the second half, we're going to be proactive about it. Of course, he said we are going through a proactive process of looking through our systems all around the world. So it all depends on which ones will be gone and which ones are not going to be gone. So this is why they got to sort through all the data. That will help improve the overall health of the system profitably, he said, and that's what the CEO said. And then also longer term makes sense for our partners and for us in terms of the business models as well. Despite these setbacks, according to Seal, the company believes this process of replacing older parts of our network with new modern restaurants and strong locations drive substantial benefits and returns for both our partners and for us over the long term. So that's what they have. So they got both for both our partners and for us over the long term. And of course, despite these setbacks, according to Seal, the company believes this process of replacing older parts, so the older parts, they got to replace them, of our network with new modern restaurants and strong locations as well. So they're gonna go through everything, see which ones will close and which ones will not, and when they make the final cut, then that's what they'll be doing, is fixing the ones that'll do the final cut and who's closing and who's not. Alright, and so hopefully they'll fix everything, find out who's getting the chop and who's not getting the chop of the restaurants. So you got Popeyes, Burger King, Tim Hortons, McDonald's. So leave your comments below. I am out.